Now to a movie that many people have been waiting years for. Star Wars, The Force Awakens is almost here. The big premiere is tonight in Los Angeles. It's the latest installment in the legendary movie franchise and the first since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012. There is, of course, a huge amount of expectation over how the director, J.J. Abrams, will carry on this Star Wars franchise. CNN's Isha Sesay sat down with him. Have a listen.
We are here on day one of Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah.
How incredible is that?
You've said that you are inheriting the Star Wars legacy. I also know you are one of the legion of superfans of the films. I'm wondering how, with that pressure, that love of the films themselves, how you even begin the process of imagining a new chapter.
Well, first of all, I had to put my being a fan aside somewhat because that wasn't the job. You know, I couldn't just be a cheerleader for this thing. It had to be storytelling. And working with Lawrence Kasdan in writing the script, we didn't just talk about the continuum of where things may have gone and what may have happened to some of the characters that people know, but also why do we want to tell a story now? What makes it relevant? What's the point? And so in talking about it from the most basic point of view, not just as a Star Wars movie, but this is a story about a young woman who, this is a story about a young man who, just talking about the story was the thing that we needed to do to tell a story that was worth telling and not just a nostalgia trip.
An incredibly diverse cast. Something you deliberately set out to do?
I knew when we were writing it that I wanted this movie to look more the way the world looks than not, but we didn't write any of the characters with that in mind. We just wrote the story. We didn't know when we were casting it who would look like what. We just started to cast the movie.
But then you have the added dimension of blending the old with the new.
Yes.
And seeing how that chemistry works.
Which, if it didn't work well, would have been a disaster. I mean, you know, you have these actors like Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and people who are, you know, obviously just wonderful and established in this iconic way. And then you've got these absolute unknowns who are stepping in, and it wasn't clear what that alchemy would result in. And what was so lucky was, to a person, they were supportive of each other. There was no weird resentment or kind of trying to edge out someone. They were all there to kind of raise each other up, and that was sort of a beautiful thing to watch.
Are you worried about the numbers, the box office numbers? Is it something you're concerned with? All the projections are this is going to blow box office takes, you know, totals out of the water. Is that something you care about?
The success for me is just going to be if people go and like the film, and if kids go and see themselves in the movie, and people feel better when they leave the theater than when they got there, and the numbers are the numbers.